Boo! Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold stream. On today's stream, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and today we are going to get to Master 5. Yes, that's the number. Hopefully. Realistically. Of course. I have faith. Trust. Yeah, that's it. That's our whole plan. That's our whole goal. That's what we do. Do. Yeah, let's just continue right where we left off. I'm gonna keep playing tier because it works, and everything else I've played it doesn't work. Smile. So it's that simple. How am I today? I'm doing alright. Oh cool, we got Gen. And we could probably summon Ken. Am I pulling packs on the upcoming releases? Yeah, I want the White Forest cards. Maxi? No. Okay. Interesting. Do they have Gamma or something? Maxi. Is tier worth the build at this point? Arguably, yes. Ghost Ogre? No. But realistically, probably not. At this point, just build like Ubel or Fire King or something like that. Especially because tier is so expensive as well. Imperm? Alright. Well, it could be Tenpai. It could also not be Tenpai. Oh yeah, Branded is a terrible matchup against tier. What nonsense are we playing? Are we gonna grab a barrier statue here? That'd be funny. Madolce. I think you definitely negate the Messengelado, right? I could be wrong, but I think that's... I mean, at this point, right? Normally you'd hit the Angeli, but can't do that. Mm-hmm. They've already normaled. They might have a Vernisylph in hand, but they'd also need another monster, which they could have. Yep. Maxi's a fun, fair, and balanced Yu-Gi-Oh card. Hooray! Hooray! Is the Horus engine worth the craft? Yeah. It's just versatile enough to where it's, like, maybe you won't have a bunch of decks that use it, but, like, there might be a deck here or there that uses it and it's useful for. I don't know. I would say it's not useful. Maxi? Can you use Horus in Yubel? Theoretically, you could use Horus in everything. I'm gonna send just Sheer in here. That's why I did that the way that I did. Mm-hmm. Imperm? Is it Droll? Could be, but I doubt it. Why does my chat keep dying? Should Master Duel have Ashen by now? Probably. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course. Pretty sure they still just lose because Fenrir is a fair and balanced Yu-Gi-Oh card, but maybe not. You'd have to summon like Meteor Burst here? No, yeah. Yeah, I just banish whatever they summon here. I think they're realizing this. Is it better to craft hand traps or other cards? Here's what you should always do. If you have a deck that you are planning on building, craft the core cards for that, then build staples if you already have all of the cards that you want. Right? So for example, if I'm planning on building 10 Pi, I should make sure that I have 3 Pydra, 3 Chandra, 2 of the field spell, 3 quick play, and then I can start building out the rest of that. But I didn't. Man, Fenris is stupid. Mm-hmm. Okay, never mind. I guess I won that game. Why didn't they flip field? Because they said it during battle phase, and they can't do that? However, if you don't have a deck that you're planning on building, I would just save them for now. Unless you really feel like, oh, I need this card to, like, complete a deck, right? Like, you're missing the 3rd Ash or the 3rd Valor or something like that. It's like, oh, I really need it for this deck that I'm playing. Then just, like, don't worry about it. Of course. Why would I not? Why would I not? Why would I not draw all 3 of them? What's up, Murkrow? How's it going? Garnet Bingo, yeah. Luckily we drew this, which is just absolutely obscenely insane. You know, sometimes they doobie-doobie-doo like that. Imagine I had to, like, normal summon Gen there instead. Or, sorry, not Gen. Ken there instead. Whoa. Imagine they had, like, any point of interaction at any point ever. That'd be crazy. I drew him again. He's here in my hand again. Turtle, go away. Duckle. Grab Fenris. Well, it's kind of Fenris in a dream if this gets stopped. It didn't get stopped. I fucking hate it here. That is criminal behavior. Bro's name is Magic. Apparently they're playing Magic the Gathering. They're waiting to play their land for turn. And I drew the turtle. And I milled horribly and I drew the turtle. And it just doesn't matter. Because this game is fun and fair and interesting. Yeah. Scooped after seeing tier cards? Did you see what I just did to him? I would have scooped as soon as Gen hit the field. I would have been like, what are with these criminal hands? He has Ash. That's for certain. Put back Eam. They're gonna Ash. Yep. Is there anything I could set here that, like, does anything? I could threaten grass. Smile. It's like the best that I can do. Oh, except they have, like, a lot of cards as well. Yeah, I guess I'll just set... I'm gonna set a Foolish Burial Goods. Unlucky. I hope we get better as well, Arsenal. Sorry you're under the weather. Why my hand look like this? It's so unbelievably Jover. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Well, it was fun. Well, it was fun. Well, it was fun. Well, it was fun. Saphira, Saphira. Oh, baby, when you talk my name, you make Oh, wow, our hand's that good. Wow. You have Gamma? I'm hoping they activate Ash here. It is Gamma. Unfortunate. Comedy. Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm. Interesting. Well, we'll see if they have Ash. Because if they don't, they're just cooked. For sure. Damn. They did have it. Yeah, it just didn't matter. Ash was the only thing that mattered there. If they don't have Ash, I win. What? What? Konami? What the fuck is this? What a great design for a ranked system. Just truly exceptional. Ash? Wolf. Well, you know, it was fun while it lasted, you know. Really was. Really, really was. Maxi? Of course. Thorny, you're not getting another turn. Oh, I milled my Ken. Oh, I hit the turtle, too. It's okay. I could play conservative here. Because I can get rid of the entire field and end on Celiac Crime with targets. Celiac Crime. And more. That's a choice. They have 3 maxis. That's crazy. Subversion, sure. Give Ghost Spell? That'd be interesting. Was he ever in the band? Avermax? No. He was never banned. Max, get out of there. That's not your fam. Drew. Oh, cool, I hit snow. Does it have to shuffle back? Do I care? Can we put some version back? No, that's fine. Yeah. You have evenly matched? Lightning Storm? No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A Poplar? Okay. Poplar effect. Sure. Do you have a red reboot? Called by? Hmm. Could be a Bestial. Why didn't we gamma the Kaleido? Oh, we couldn't. Right. Ash? Or was realizing in real time that that is, in fact, how cards work. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah? What the hell are you gonna make? Hito. Uh-huh. Okay. Don't walk over the snow. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. Ugh. Tragic. Yeah, droplet the Nibiru token, trust. It'll matter, trust. Maxi versus grass. Which is more broken? Turns out it's grass. Turns out it's actually snow. Snow is actually the problem there. Man, the shufflers are stupid. The fact that they're quick effect in grave is wild. If they weren't quick effect, they'd still be crazy. Maxi? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Please don't be Shifter. That would make me very upset. Cool, no Maxi. Do they have Imperm? That'd be annoying. That is a name. Of course it's Tenpai. Why would it not be Tenpai? Smile. Also, thanks for the level 3 tuner. Smile. Snow. Destro's okay, but it's not great. They don't have a Dark Engrave? No. Dang. Could make Curious, but Curious kind of doesn't do anything. I could just pass. Yeah, I guess we're just passing. It's kind of the best I can do. Hmm? Why is that card at 2? Why is that card at 1? Why does that card exist? Oh, cool. It's Tenpai. Goaded hand. That's a criminal hand. Watch them shifter me. Smile. Tenpai non-stop is why I'm playing Tier right now. Because Tier does that to Tenpai. Considering VFD is reboot for monsters is the wildest thing I think I've ever heard. Because it's absolutely correct and it's not something I ever thought about. Because you're absolutely correct. That is what it is. I just didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. That is certainly a draw. I don't know how I feel about it, but it is something. Do you have a way of dealing with the Fenris here? Pachycephalo, probably? Imperm. Mm-hmm. You're gonna normal summon a barrier statue. Scare cache. Huh? Oh, we're just bad. Okay. Cool. Not our hand, our deck. Our deck is that bad. Smile. Scream's crazy. One. Hitting a shuffler is not bad here. Again. Someone can. Wraith South kind of doesn't do anything. Wouldn't allow me to get over to Scare Cache. So we'll grab this guy. Called by? It's something. What? Bro, get out of my hand. I don't want you in my hand. That's okay. Now they basically need to draw Theosis. Yeah. We did it. We almost went back a rank. We almost went from Diamond 2 to Diamond 1, and then immediately back, because Konami's system is a goddamn joke. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to... this has to be terrible. Oh, it's a one of. This is the problem. This is the problem with Cash. Is that it's terrible. It's so inconsistent that, like, sometimes you draw a hand of Summon Limit, Scare Cash, Patchy, Big Bang. What was the other card? Ogre? No, it was a Maxi or something. It was another set card. Oh, it was probably Prep and Imperm. Yeah, one Pathfinder is a choice. That's for sure. That's for sure. Also, only two birth, but we're playing like Preparation and Big Bang. Even the match is in here. Yeah. This hold on there. The fuck does this guy do? The answer is nothing. This guy's just here for shits and giggles, I guess. I don't know. Cool. I got hand ripped for 3 on the rank up match. Yep, that sounds about right. Discard for pot. I mean, yeah, that could also be like anything else. You could have played the second Big Eye. You could have played the second Flare Metal. You could have played the second Armed Dragon or Dark Armed. You could have played Donner. You could have played another Link monster or something. You could have played the second 10. We did it. Woo. I knew it was coming, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Just 20 seconds, damn. Woo. Woo. Ooh, let's go. Hooray! Hooray! The problem is that the Duelist Cup is not going to change. Like, the meta for the Duelist Cup is not going to change enough for me to want to play it. Because right now, if we're playing Tenpai meta, that sounds like a nightmare. That does not sound fun. But Tenpai can go Rabbit if you give them first turn. Tenpai's not going to go Rabbit, they're going to go Seals. Or, sorry, Spheres. And Dragoon. Yeah, they could make Dragoon, but why would they? That'd be terrible. That'd be so bad. Bro, no deck gives a shit about Dragoon. I hate to tell ya. Like, every deck can out Dragoon. Whether that's just by walking over it or by the myriad of other means that are available to it. Also, you wouldn't play the bricks. That's why Tenpai would do it. I hate to say it, but I can't argue with that. You're not wrong. You're not incorrect about that. Please run DM in my Dragoon deck. In your Dragoon deck, Tenpai, it'd be so funny because as a DM player, it will 100% be a card in your opening hand every time. True. True. Yo. Alright, chat. It's tier list time. I made it to Master. We did it in fucking 10 games and they were like that because this game is a joke. We did 10 games in less than an hour, by the way. That's like one Runic, or, what is it? One Paleo game. What? It's tier list time, baby. I have found a tier list for... What? That's not what I meant to hit. Sorry. I have found a tier list for the best formats of all time. Or, more specifically, the TCG formats of all time. And we're going to rank them. Because it'd be funny. I've done tier lists for this before. But let's do it again. Because why not? And then maybe we'll play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? I now have to find the... I now have to find the format library. Is it called format library? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I see Dad. I see PTSD. Fiber jar, my beloved. As much as I think Fiber Jar realistically could come back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And not cause any issues, it also can never come back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it will absolutely cause issues. So there's that. But, let us begin. I'm just going to speed run these. If you don't know what they are, real quick. Very early Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi Kaiba Yu-Gi-Oh! Terrible. God-awful. Critter Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty bad. Still not fun, but a little bit more playable. Delinquent Duo, aka Treasure format, goddamn useless. Imperial Order format, a little bit better, because guess what? Imperial Order actually kind of solves some of the issues. Jinzo format is, aka, like, the next couple of sets, there's a little bit more interesting stuff that actually happen, and it becomes a little bit more interesting. Joey Pegasus is also pretty bad, mostly due to the same reasons that Treasure is bad, where you just have a million just insane power cards, where you're just like, I'm just going to drop like 19 power cards, and there's no real deck building, and it makes you want to pull your eyes out. Fiber format is a format that exists. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Fiber Jar is not legal to save stun decks from getting out with a black eye. Fiber Jar is not legal because could you imagine trying to resolve Fiber Jar in the TCG. Bro, they banned Lacrima because it burned for 12. That shit ain't legal. Nuh-uh. You could probably release it to Master Duel, though, because it'd, like, be automatic. You could play an additional game. That's fine. Anyway. Next up, we have Yada format, which is okay. Oh, sorry. This is the never played format, which I'm just going to get rid of, because technically speaking, I haven't played, like, 90% of these. Technically speaking. Yeah, Yada format's okay. It's fine. Magical Scientist FTK format? Yo! Vampire format I think is actually pretty interesting. It basically revolves around this guy, Vampire Lord, because it just comes back, like, consistently, which is pretty awesome. And it's a 1 tribute that's, like, difficult to out. So, it's pretty cool. But it's not, like, the greatest. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in okay. It's not, like, the greatest. It's still old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, before anything was interesting. Then we have Chaos format, which was, I'm not gonna lie, pretty bad. It centered around a Yada lock and a CED activation, and that was kinda it. Next up we have Warrior format, which is pretty okay, and then Go format's just like, it's Go format. There's a reason it's called Go format. It's pretty good. It's like the peak of old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And genuinely is extremely dynamic. So there you go. And Warrior is just like one step below that, not quite at that peak, but almost there. I'm surprised Nephthys isn't more playable during the Go format. It's because Nephthys has like 2 cards. And they're all bad. Constantly entertaining dragon. True. An ancestor of VFT. Next up we have Cyber Dragon format, which is literally centered around Cyber Dragon just being a card that exists and is basically just Go format. Reaper format's also pretty good. It's pretty similar in nature to the Cyber Dragon format. It's a little bit better, but not a lot of bit better. Yeah, this format. No, this format sucked. What if you banished all of your cards and then brought them back? And then you had a million guys. Smile. Yep. Stein format. Piss off, Stein. Me and my homies hate Stein. Chimera format's okay. It's fine. It's a little bit more interesting because you're actually like utilizing future fusion and stuff like that to generate advantage, and it becomes a little bit more dynamic with like actually, was Trooper printed at that time? I don't remember, but yeah, it becomes a little bit more interesting. What format is this? Huh? It's just a picture of Stratos. I don't know. Is this a... I don't remember this. Demise OTK was kind of an interesting time in Yu-Gi-Oh! When was you? When was you? When was he? When was this guy? It's a great question. I don't know. It's hero format. I don't want to play a format centered around... Oh, this was Blue Gadget! Oh, yeah! This was like a Blue Gadget, Red Gadget scenario where it's just like, oh, cool, I'm just going to normal summon a Blue Gadget, which was Stratos. I remember this format now. Sorry, I had to figure it out. Yeah, Stratos was crazy on release because it was literally just a better gadget card, and the gadgets were already crazy because they just refilled your hand. And so, like, yeah, but like Stratos is crazy. He's just like a better version of that. Troop Dupe Scoop, really fun. Zombie format's also pretty fun in general. These two are fairly decent. They're not insane, but they're pretty good. Lad format's significantly worse. Look, if you are able to summon Lad, it becomes a problem. And it becomes very boring very quickly. Let's just put Teledad where it belongs. Cause... Actually, okay, to be fair, Teledad, the only reason I think Teledad format was so hated for so long was mostly due to the price point. It was extremely overpriced, right? And this was back in the time when you couldn't just like go online and play a format, or like play Yu-Gi-Oh for free, like with Master Duel, or with the other ways of potentially playing Yu-Gi-Oh online, like, you know, remote duels, or maybe like with a book, that you duel with. Anyway, but like I think Teledad format, or more specifically, the Teledad decks and the mirrors are pretty interesting. Similar in nature to like Dragon Ruler, where it's like Dragon Ruler as a deck as well was hated at the time. Similar to pretty much every tier 0 deck, but going back and looking at it, it's like, no, it's actually not actually that bad. It's still pretty interesting, and it does have a lot of interesting gameplay. I don't remember what this format refers to. Is this the... This is like the... I don't know what this format is. Just gonna leave it over here. We're just gonna... It's just a guide. Yeah, I don't... Because there wasn't really anything in between, like, lad format to dad format. It was lad to dad. Smile. Glad Beast format was kind of interesting, and it was similar in nature to, like, Teledad, but I think Teledad was a little bit better. But Glad Beast was a nice refresher. Oh, sorry, this is Teledad. This was Dad Return. Okay. Sorry. I got my formats mixed up. I'm sorry. Teledad, good format. Dad Return, aka Chaos Dad, fucking sucks. This format was bad. This format was fine. This format was pretty bad. Lightsworn was sick as hell. Lightsworn was great format. 10 out of 10 format. Just extremely fun. Lots of varied decks. Why did I put this one so low? That one should be higher. I'm thinking of a different format. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Dino Rabbit format, not Cat format. Cat format was fine. This one was solid. But adding in Lightsworn to the previous format was a great addition. Lightsworn's always just really fun. Is this Edison format? This is Edison format. This is the peak of Yu-Gi-Oh! There you go. Honestly, Frog format was awful, and you can't pay me to play that. X-Sabers were cool, but honestly, the rest of the format outside of X-Sabers and the one, like, misruling sucks. This was like the first iteration of Necro Valley, and as much as I hate Necro Valley, I do think that this format's bad. This was another like almost tier 0 fucking bullshit format. Not fun. Actually, okay, it wasn't that bad. What was Trishula's format? Was it just 6 Sam, but like slightly weaker? If this is the staple card, I'm gonna tell you it's bad. Shockwave. What the fuck is Shockwave format? That's a lie. You can't prove it. Tengu Plant is a fine format. It's definitely overhyped though. 6 Sam, but no gateway, I guess. Maybe. I have no idea what this is. I guarantee it's bad though. Dark World format. Dark World format was actually pretty cool. That had a lot of interesting. Wait, no. What the hell is this one? Okay, this is the same thing as this guy. Like these two should not be here. I don't know what format these are referring to, but they are not real. They can't hurt you. Evolsars. Oh, this was like before Dino Rabbit format, but still having like the Evolzars and stuff like that, which is okay. It was fine. This is wind up format, if I'm not mistaken. I am mistaken. This is prior to wind up format. I don't know what this format is. I could not tell you. Dino Rabbit is fuck off. That's what that format is. Wind up format is also fuck off, man. Neither of those format. Imagine like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, except for back in the day when you had less answers to the modern combos. Smile. Hey, speaking of, Fire Water format was pretty good. Not gonna lie, that one was great. Is this Fire Water? No, sorry, this isn't Fire Water format. This is Meadowlands. Oh, this one's slightly worse, but not by much. It's still good. Still a good format. Still a fun format. This is like when Mermail first got its its support, and like first showed up in Yu-Gi-Oh. It was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting, but it wasn't like the best deck. It was just a good deck. So there's that. And then we had the Dragon Ruler formats, which were... The first one was okay. The second Dragon Ruler format is peak. The second time Dragon Ruler was like top tier, it was pretty good. With the limitations to the babies, it made Ravine Ruler, and it allowed a bunch of other decks as well to be played alongside the Rulers, which made it a lot more interesting of a format, while also making Dragon Rulers a very dynamic and interesting deck to play, and allowing for a lot of these different plays. This is what we basically played in like that OCG format that we got in Master Duel, the like event. This is around that like style, but for the TCG, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool format. We didn't obviously have like Shaddolls and some of the other stuff, but that was kind of the similar format. Firewater format's great. Firewater format is fantastic. Lots of interesting decks. Most notably, going back and looking at Firewater format, this format in particular didn't actually like the two best decks were not Fire and Water, right? Mermail was like this big combo deck, and then Fire Fist was like, I'm gonna activate Tenki and like search a guy and then like sit on like 4 traps. And that was kind of the ideas that were being played with, because that was kind of just how decks worked back then, right? You had like big combo decks like Dragon Ruler versus smaller incremental advantage decks like Spellbook, and like you just go back in time, and like there was always kind of that idea, because that's a very like Magic style of thinking as well, and just like card game thinking as well. But going back and looking at it is like, yeah, Fire and Water were both kind of not really good at that time. There was a bunch of other decks and stuff like that, all of which were pretty interesting. There's lots of cool stuff going on. Yu-Gi-Oh format sucked. Hat format was fine. Is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Shaddol, this is the first Shaddol format, which was good, and then it got even better with the addition of Burning Abyss. And then it got what I would say is... No, sorry. Hold on. I'm thinking about this wrong. No. Burning Abyss is up here. This one's here. Yeah, this was when BA basically became tier 0 in the TCG. This was Charleston, which was significantly worse. The release of Burning Abyss to counter Shaddol and to put and to be countered by Cleefort, while also not entirely pushing everything else out of the metagame, created a very dynamic and interesting format that allowed for a lot of dynamic plays and a lot of interesting decks to still be played, and is really, really fun, and just one of the peaks of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry, it can't be at the peak of the peak, but it is definitely up there. I remember when everyone thought Sylvan was ass. Necroz's format is good. Unless you include Jin, the releaser of Rituals, in which case it's a terrible format. However, most people gentleman out of that, and because of that, it's a cool format. If you actually play the Necroz mirror, it's cool. Unless you got skill drained by Klee. Well, the thing is, even if you got skill drained by Klee, you could still do stuff. BA could still do stuff. Shaddol could still do stuff. Like, yes, it sucked, but like, it still wasn't as bad as like it could have been. And it's still a really solid format. There were still a lot of like interesting things that you could do. Pre-Pepe format was fine. Pepe format was one of the worst formats of all time. This is one of the few tier 0 decks that I genuinely think no one really liked. It was so far and away above everything else in a way that wasn't interesting. It was this big long combo deck that if you went first, you won because it was so hyper consistent. And if you went second, you lost pretty much always against that deck. And there were very few times, unless you drew like Wavering Eyes, there were very few instances where you actually had an interesting game plan against each other, right? And I'm talking about the actual tier 0 prior to the ban list. Because if you're actually playing tier 0 versus tier 0, there's a bit of fun, but that's the only thing you play, and it's very heavily decided by dice roll, similar to like an Infernoble Mirror currently, or like any of those big long combo decks right now, right? So, yeah, it's not a great format. That being said, after the limitations, I think the format got significantly better. But yeah. Ignister Prominence using opponent's scales for the spin is just absurd for the time. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like, there was definitely... You're right. I did make it sound like this format had no counterplay. No, there was definitely counterplay, but it was so centralized on a singular deck and a singular archetype. There wasn't really much to do, and there's not a whole lot of dynamic in, like, the choices that you make. Right? There's not really a whole lot to be like with Dragon Ruler, if you're playing Dragon Ruler, right, you get to do one of potentially 30 different things. And all of them are optional. And all of them are optimal. Right? They're all good options. Whereas with something like Pepe, you could do one of 50 things, but 2 of them are good. One of them is the only realistically good option that's going to win you a game. So you pretty much always do, like, the same things to end on the same boards, right? Similar to, like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. But with, like, old school cards. And no other decks to kind of change up the monotony of it. Does that make sense? Still a lot of counterplay in between the 2 decks, or in between the 1 deck against for both players. But, like, in terms of any, like, going back and revisiting that format, no. Also, it's a pendulum format, so fuck you. But, yeah. Draco Slayer got a little bit better as well. So, not bad, but... actually, this format... Yeah, this format was pretty good, now that I'm thinking about it. This was a good format, overall. It was just, like, everything that made Pepe interesting. And then add in Draco Slayer. And, like, genuinely make an interesting pendulum format. This is, like, one of the few pendulum formats that's actually interesting. And had multiple pendulum decks that were... I mean, they pretty much did the same thing. Yeah, it was pretty much still just the one pendulum deck, which is always the problem with pendulum. But it still had, like, multiple decks that were playable, and it wasn't so bogged down by the one deck. And it was just kind of like everything that made Pepe interesting, while still being, like, fair. It was theoretically beatable, but good luck doing that against decks with consistency you wouldn't see until tier 0. Yeah, for 6 years in Modern, yeah. Dear Lanto Monarch format was awful for everyone involved. You know what? You couldn't pay me to play that one. Here's the problem with this one. Similar to Pepe is... Well, unsimilar to Pepe. Is that Monarch ruined everything. It's similar to the current format we are currently in right now. And here's why. The current format we're in is a format in Master Duel that centers around a deck that stops you from doing things. Or just, like, entirely invalidates what you do in Tenpai, right? So you have to go above and beyond to beat it. Monarch is that, but for going first and stunning you. However, oftentimes what ended up happening with Monarch is that they would literally just have the better hand. That was it. That was the whole thing about it. Similar to Tenpai, right? Where, because of the way that Monarch worked, it oftentimes bricked to itself. And that was how you won games. Was it just like, oh, I just didn't get to play the game. Monarch Mirror is good, though. Also cheap. That is true. Right? I like the Tenpai Mirror. That doesn't mean it's good for a format. Extra deck Monarch drawing the whole deck and sitting on an anti-spell and their Flood of Choice was for sure deck of all time. Exactly. Both versions of Monarch both extra deck lists and with the extra deck, both decks were not fun to play against and ruined the way that other decks had to interact with it. And the fact that it also just like was the best deck in the room while also being super inconsistent. It was like when Kashtira. That's a better example. It's basically Kashtira. Monarch was basically Kashtira, except more egregious because it was more inconsistent and more Floodgate, which is crazy. And it also had less that could beat it. Right? Like, with Kashtira, you could just be like, cool, I'm going to Book of Moon. And then, like, that, like, deals with the board. Cool. Now I can play the game. Monarch, it wasn't that simple. You couldn't just be like, I'm just going to, like, activate Book of Moon and, like, deal with the board. It's like, nope, you can't target my guys. Or, like, nope, I'm just going to tribute someone again, and now you still can't do stuff. Or, like, oh, I'll flip up Anti-Spell, and stuff like that. So, yeah, yeah, just woof. ABC format was pretty cool. Not insane, but a pretty interesting and dynamic format with a really cool deck in ABC. And Monarchs were still kicking around, but not nearly as prevalent nor as powerful. And there were more options now just to deal with it, which was nice. So there's that. Next up, we have Rapier, this fucker. I hate Rapier. Me and my homies hate Rapier. Man, fuck that card. The initial release of Zodiac was insane. And it only got worse, is the thing. However, I'm going to put this in pretty bad. However, it did get better. Right? While technically speaking, Zodiac became more powerful because you could just put it into any deck at all. Zodiac ended up becoming a more interesting deck because it, with the limitations, it allowed it. Not only did it allow it to like explore its options, the combos and strategies became a lot more interesting. With like, it still wasn't great. They still weren't great formats, but at least it was like slightly more interesting. Mostly due to the way that like being able to go for Norden, like hard summoning Norden and stuff like that was pretty funny, and like getting advantage off of that, and like kind of going from there was just like a cool little mechanic that you could do, and just generating advantage off of that, being able to see all the non-engine and yada yada. Right, and then also being able to play it with like True Draco and all of that jazz. So there's that. And then Mrs. Radiant came along, and it was still an okay format. Just made it a little bit more reasonable because you had to go into like Mrs. Radiant there, but it still wasn't insane. And then Spirals came along. Honestly, Spirals are interesting. Spirals certainly are an interesting deck because Spiral, as a deck, became something egregious. But it started out as a go second deck, which is wild to think about, but tough control was such a weird mechanic, and it ended up just like being extremely strong. And then there was a bunch of other stuff like that where Spiral just ended up being able to kind of like combo off through a bunch of interactions, so it ended up just being better to go second and to like slow your opponent down with like hand traps and stuff like that. Maybe not better, but like that was definitely a choice. So Spiral format, despite it being a tier 0 format, was still fairly decent. Not terrible. I don't know. It's hard to say with Spiral because like there was a lot to like about it and there was a lot to hate. Double Helix making it tier 0 overnight. I still don't like Spiral for that. Yeah. Double Helix is a, that is a card. That is a card of all time. Smile. Then we have Electrolyte Turbo, Smile, which was a format that, did exist. Yep. Am I thinking of this format correctly? Yeah. It's like the Penned Magician format with like the FTK. Oh, this was like FTK format. You're right. I forgot. Yeah, that was FTK format. Goki format, Burn in Hell. Danger FTK format, fucking Burn in. It's just FTK after FTK after FTK after pseudo FTK. Like Ooh. And then we got a slight itty bit of a relief, which was Striker format, which was, looking back, I think a lot of people realize Toss format, pre and post Thunder Dragon, I should say, Sky Striker and Toss format are they're okay. They're okay formats, right? I'm gonna put Toss in good. I think Toss is okay. But I think the reason so many people loved Toss format was because it came after Goki, Danger, and Pend FTK style formats, where it was just like, what if you didn't play the game? What if you didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh? What if Yu-Gi-Oh didn't happen? And it's like, oh, cool. Yeah, that sounds great. This is not quite Hulk era. Not quite. Then we have the Luna Light format, which was also pretty bad. And then we had Orcus format, which was also pretty good. This was more specifically Toss format, right? So yeah. But yeah. Thunder Dragon format would have been down here. Sorry. This is Toss format. This is when Orcus shows up. I forgot Orcus was the last one to show up. My bad. But yeah, overall, like, Sky Striker Orcus was fine. Toss, Thunder Dragon, Sky Striker Shenanigans was fine. Luna Light was just not great. Striker Orcus was tight. It was cool. However, the rest of that format, Dear Lanta, what if you couldn't search cards because Thunder Dragon took 37 minutes and then just timed you out? Then we had the first stint of Dragon Link playability, which was a not exceptional format, but it certainly did exist. And then we had Secret Slayer format, which burned in hell. That format sucked ass. They printed Hulk, they gave us Adamancipators with Block Dragon available, they gave us Eldritch, and then they said, have fun, and then no one had fun for the next 2 years. And then they banned Hulk, and people had fun again! I wish I was kidding, but, like, genuinely, Hulk ruined, like, several formats. Speaking of which, another terrible format ruined by Halka-Fibrax into Link Cross into Martial Metal Marcher, and have you seen this before? I miss Adam so much. I don't. Man, fuck Adamancipator. I played a bunch of Adamancipator, and yeah, oof. And then we have Virtual World format. Virtual World was slightly better because Virtual World itself was cool. Yes, VFD sucked, but like it was slightly better. It was still a very bad format, but Dear Lanta, that format was slightly better. It was slightly better than Infernoble hand ripping you, because at the very least, like, I don't know, Virtual World was slightly more interesting. That was kind of it. Yeah, no, this format's not that. No. Yeah, Dragon Link 2.0 still had LP. No, wait, hold on. No, this format was still okay. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Still Dragon Link centered, you know, just wombo combo, vomit out your hand kind of format. But it wasn't nearly as bad. And then Tri-Brigade came along and saved the fucking day. Tri-Zoo format was great. Lots of different decks. It's called Tri-Zoo format, or at least like that's what we associate as like the top deck. Tri-Zoo might not have even been the top deck, but it was a very good format. It was diverse without being like horrible, because a lot of the decks you could like beat their board or like hand trap them and it mattered, right? Like activating an Ash Blossom on Tri-Brigade, like any of the Tri-Brigade monsters, mattered, right? Being able to like imperm something mattered, right? So like it genuinely changed the way that like gameplay worked, and it was genuinely a good format. Followed up by a fairly decent format in Bird Up. which honestly you could argue these were basically the exact same format. There was so little difference in between them, but Bird Up did have some notable inclusions. Branded was in there, Sword Soul was in there more consistently as well. And again, while it is called Bird Up format, it's not Bird Up format, not as much. Again, like a lot of other decks were still playable. Was this branded format? There's a format that's called Despia format, and now I'm confused. When was Bird Up format? I don't even remember Bird Up format. I remember it was like a deck, but I remember it being a deck mostly with branded. Honestly, I feel like it's good because of format, because of Imperm. Anyway, these two formats are so linked in my mind, it's hard for me to realistically distinguish the two, so I'm just going to put them right next to each other because yeah, anyway. I remember Bird Up being more played with Branded and Sword Soul, which apparently was later. Then we had this format, which sucked ass. This was the Nationals format, I believe, for 2022. No. Sorry, this was not that format. Hulk was still legal at the time, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, this was like Verte make a DPE at the end of the combo, which wow, what a terrible format. This was the format that I was thinking of. So, this is the quote-unquote branded format. This was the Nationals format for 2022. This format, if you do not remember, let me explain it. What ended up happening is Despia, aka Branded, ended up becoming like the best deck, but the format ended up becoming super diverse with things like Punk, with things like Adventure Tenyi, with things like Sword Soul, Branded, etc. All just kind of doing their own thing and making a board that basically didn't allow you to play the game. Mostly thanks to Halqifibrax. So what ended up happening 90% of the time is you would go second, your opponent would do their combo, or attempt to do their combo, you'd hand trap them, you'd slow them down, they would then normal summon a tuner, hand trap, or something along those lines, make Halqifibrax, summon out a guy, and then just FTK you off of that alone. They would like go for Dagda Scythe lines, they would go for just big wombo combos for like Baron Borreload, or what? No, what was it? It was Borreload, Herald of Arclight, and just a myriad of stuff like that, where it's just like, cool, what if you didn't play the game? Through a bunch of interaction. It was yeah, that was just one of the worst formats of all time. While it was a diverse format, it was not good. Colossus was banned at the time, so you couldn't make a Colossus. That was Master Duel. This is TCG. Then we have Power of the Elements, which was honestly an okay format. However, it got refined at Minneapolis, where we got Sprite Tier, which was a really interesting format and rather dynamic. I'm actually going to move both of those up. Sprite Tier was such a cool way of looking at the Power of the Elements, as well as just like the Sprite Runic stuff as well, which was more so what was happening here. I think this was more of like Sprite Tier, but Sprite Runic, Sprite Tier, just like that whole timeline. Again, I'm just gonna put these next to each other because they kind of like coincide, and they're both really interesting formats and just extremely solid. And then we had Tier format, which a lot of people don't like, but this is similar in nature to a lot of like the Dragon Ruler formats and stuff like that. It's a okay format, but there's not really a whole lot to do outside of playing Tier mirror matches. So there's that. I don't really want to put it higher. I think Tier also gets better in the next format, which is, or at least more interesting to play in the next format, which is one of the greatest formats of all time that lasted for like a month. It was so short-lived, which was the Rescue Ace Unchained tier shenanigans format. This format was fantastic. No cash format? We don't need to talk about cash format. Shh. It's fine. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It can't hurt you. I don't know. Cash format's not on here. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, cash would... It literally, on the timeline, it goes from December 2022 to September 2023. And there was a cash format in there. But that's okay, because it can't hurt you. That format sucked ass and would go in zero. Fuck that format. That format was not fun. I don't remember anyone having fun at that time. But Rescue Ace format, aka Rescue Ace Unchained tier, etc. That format was phenomenal. Genuinely one of the greatest formats of all time. It was very shortly lived because right after we got this fucker, and then they printed Poplar and ruined the format again. But Rescue Ace was great. Such a really cool and dynamic format with some really interesting counterplay and interesting gameplay decisions from everyone. There were a lot of different decks that you could play from Tearlament, which had been nerfed, so it wasn't playing like Kit Kalos Turbo. It was instead like focusing on some of the... I think... Was Horus printed at the time? No. It was like the malicious Beatrice lines and stuff like that, which was pretty interesting. And a bunch of other shenanigans of the like. So, yeah, pretty cool and really cool format. Also, Unchained just being absolutely goated was really, really fun. It was a deck that played 0 hand traps and just played like some board breakers. And not even like evenly matched and Dark Ruler and stuff like that. It was like, what if I just like played triple tack and stuff like that? Awesome format, 10 out of 10 format. And yeah, there you go. All right, let's go back to playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, Pearly was also there. You're right. Tier 0 was a format. It was only good for the game when it ended, and only people who enjoyed it played it. Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much. You're not wrong. It's a good hand. It's a decently good hand. Cool. Why am I playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Bro said skip the cutscene. What format do you think was short? Do you think was too short-lived and needed a revisit? The AGOG format. The one that we were just talking about. Did we mill the turtle? We didn't. Hooray. Loisimos. Yeah, Pearly Super Heavy Samurai was terrible. Just a no good, very bad format. Oh my gosh, please. Doop, 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 doop. You know, I don't know what I expected. That wasn't it, but I'll take it. Do I pitch tier here? Or, crime here? Yes, we do. Okay, so this is likely Tenpai since they haven't left. Or they're just, dumb? I don't know, one of those two. What the fuck is Ultimate Slayer doing here? What the hell is he doing here? Oh, cool. Put back the turtle. Turtle. Summon this guy. Activate effect. Activate effect. Oh, I wanted to add this guy to hand. Shoot. Well then, let's do this. Send Heartbeat. We'll go Chain 1. Chain 2. I guess I had Crime here. Crime's better against Tenpai. Is 60 card better than 40 right now? Yes, because Tenpai has a harder time beating a 60 card tier board than a 40 card. Because you can activate Grass. Smile. Let a Rhino Heart. I like how someone Rhino Heart here. Yeah, you can make Apo. Fatness. You summon you, and you. Do I have Destrudo Engrave? I'm paying attention. I do. Hooray! Oh, I also have Foolish Burial. That's crazy. I also have Snow Engrave? What do I even go for here? Just make Apo. Just make a big ass format Apo. Honestly, yeah. Like, that's actually not bad. It's just making a big ass format Apo. And then I can make Baron on top of that. That's so dumb. That's so stupid. Man, fuck this game. Man, this game dumb. Man, this game dumb as hell. What the fuck? Summon this guy, banish Soliak, so we can add it back. Let's mill 3 here from me. We get another snow? That's crazy. Alright, normal Rhino. Oh, and we can make Dweller here? Damn, that's crazy. Damn, that's crazy. Kaimina's full Dragon Link combo without using your normal. That's interesting. Flip it face down, it'd be funny. Cool, let's go. What you got for me? Mm-hmm. He's there. Whoa. There he is. In attack position. Harpies, Feather Duster. Sure, sure. No. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Triple attack, sure. Sure, draw 2. Yep. Normal summon Ash. Okay. Ah! Ooh. Yeah. Make him long. Wow. Sure. Sure. Okay. Uh-huh. No. Okay. And that's the end of the chain. Bro thought. He shouldn't have. He should have saw the grass resolve and just immediately go, you know what? You got it. But he really tried. And he shouldn't have. He drew the 1 of Droll, by the way. Company. Imagine if that was any other hand trap. To be fair, Droll would not have, like, wasn't bad. It was just, I had to call back. Yay to see it. My hand was, what? Called by Grass, a discard for Imseti, right? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't want you looking at my hand, and I want you to just pass. That's the important part, is that I don't want you looking at my hand. I'd rather take a Gamma than taking a triple tech. Never mind, I'd rather just leave. Oh, you were playing that deck? No, you got it. Look, I know when to skip a cutscene. I've seen it before. It's not cool. Also, can I just say how much I hate the new Synchron cards? The new, like, Synchron tuners? The, Adventure Synchron, or Assault Synchron, and the other one, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. Wow, this hand does absolutely nothing. Interesting. Yeah, Rev Synchron. Those two are not good. Smile. D-Bells. D-Bells. Sure. That's fine. What if it went away? Smile. Damn. That was bro's hand? Yeah. I mean, yeah. He drew the 1-of. He drew 2 1-ofs, technically. Too bad one of them were back. What? The fuck is this like? Summon the Garunix, it'd be funny. Sure, I guess. I don't want to sit through this. Wow, this hand's good. Okay. They simply don't have Maxi. Maxi's not a real card. It can't hurt you. Smile. Wow, those are certainly mills. That's for sure. That's for sure. Imperm. Yep. Sure, I'll just pass. Are you sure about that? Okay. They must have bricked if they activated Heat Wave. Or they're just stupid. One of the two. True. What do I think about Floodgates like Diabell that aren't as strong, but also have removals? I don't like Diabell. I don't think a card like that needs to exist. Whoa, Tenpai. Nice Heat Wave. No shot Heat Wave is the play. Huh? It's a one of. Okay, stop looking. I can't help that. I can't help that. That's just bad. It's just bad. It's out of my hands. My hands are clean of this. It's not my fault. Okay, pretty good hand. Is this also 60? 55. Oh, they're gonna have a bestial. Disgusting. I like it because she hates pendulums. Alright. Yeah, fair enough. Reasonable. Man, I hate Branded. Because I know they're about to give me a stupid dingus who just kills my entire deck. Smile. If I send Mudora first thing, I'd be able to shuffle away whatever they wanted to target, which is kind of crazy. Can we just ban Branded Fusion at this point? I mean, it's never gonna happen, but it should. It's similar in nature to like Sky Striker Engage, where it's just like this card existing is a problem, but without it, the deck's cool. Regained? Probably lost, right? Would be my assumption. Okay. Yeah. So this is to set up the stupid bullshit. Because during the end phase, all of this gets to trigger, and they get a grab. They get to summon Quem. Quem gets to send the Albaz. They then add Branded in Red. Then they fuse into Albion. And then they have that available to them as well, because of reasons. Huh? I see, I see. Sure. Alright, let's go like this. Pitch you. What is this board? I don't know. Branded smile? Not good smile? Shirin. Maxi. Fucking no. Cool. If they Mercurier, they can't do the Granganol. Cool. I wonder if adding grass here is even the play. Why is there another Duelist Cup on the way? Because Konami hates you, Smile. Oh, this one's Aqua. Dang. Milten is still great. Fantastic. You're hyped for Masterpiece? Why? The hell? comedy. That's kind of comedy. What the hell can I go into? Oh, Mud Dragon. Huh. That's funny. Okay. Coolio, well that was fun while it lasted. How do I feel about the format after the ban list? Any predictions? It's gonna suck. Even more than it already does. We'll banish... Lost here. We're curious. Already done both of you. So I guess we'll send Reinhardt. Will Jada remember being fusion summoned after being flipped? If it's flipped summoned, no. As far as I know, other than that, no idea. Ash here is pretty good. I think I just keep the Ash, don't I? Can I go Zeraboros for enough here? Yeah, probably. How much does it gain? 200? So it's at... an additional 4,000? Can Dugar's affect topologic? Yeah. I don't know if that's enough, though. Is it? It could be. I don't know if that's worth it, though. I don't have enough time to try and figure it out. Not that one. Shit. Ouroboros. And you. Yeah. It's not quite enough. It's close though. But no cigar. If I had more time, I could probably have figured it out. Yu-Gi-Oh! Works because Konami says it works. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. 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 No. No. Man, I hate branded. If a monster got flipped face down and forgot it was properly brought out, that'd be worse than what we have now. True. True. Imagine a card went face down and then it just forward. Oops, he forward. Good hand. Not a great hand, but a good hand. Alright, chat, it's cutscene time. Time to take a nap. Because let's be honest, if we watch, it's gonna be bad. I still despise mistiming. The fact that you can miss timing is so dumb. There's no world in which that should happen. Playing with zero respect to Nib? What are you talking about? Bro is absolutely playing with respect to Nibiru. What are you talking about? His 5th summon was Flumberg. Okay, now I'm confused. Did we... The SNSP stands for Snake Eyes? Okay, yeah. Why do we make this guy? Make an IP? No, because then you have no fires. What the hell are we doing? Were Fire King end boards always this complex? Yes. Sunlight Wolf. What are we doing with Sunlight Wolf? Nothing. The answer is nothing? Smile? What the fuck? I'm surprised that resolved. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that's a great draw. Sure. Yeah. Negate. Yup. And then I take their hand. And I kind of can't do anything. Okay. Okay. Huh? Great. Okay. Let's go like this. Mm-hmm. Send Rhino. They're under Droll. They can't use Roach. I shuffled back his Arvada. Or his Kieran. Oh, I milled the wrong thing. Fuck me. Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I just milled the wrong thing. Oh, that was really, really stupid. Oh, I skipped a step. Oh, it's all good. Trust, opium. Dark and Grave, right? Oh, cool, you have an SP. Thank you. Oh, I can't surge. You're right. My bad. Can I not ash that? What the hell? Hmm? Oh, because it doesn't send. I misplayed. I was supposed to send the Havnus or a Sheer in there, and then I win. And I goofed. I just skipped a step because I was supposed to send. Anyway, yeah. I literally just turned my brain off there. But bro played like that, like shit, and I also did. So, oops. Well, that was fun. Cool, fun. Oh. Well, we die to any hand trap, pretty much, but, let's find out, shall we? Mm-hmm. Kinda figured. Lightning Storm? Figured. Called by? Nope. Surprising. Chandra, sure. I just wait to battle phase here. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. If they have the quick play, I lose. They didn't have the quick play, I win. It's a good hand. Oh, our hand's that good, I see. Our hand's that bad? Our hand's that good, I see. Okay, cool. Also, I really hope they make Winda. It'd be very funny. If they make Dweller, that's a little annoying. We might be able to play through that, given the Horus cards in hand. Unless they have, like, Ash. Did you just do what I think you just did? Oh, no. Okay, it was Havness. I thought I saw the Beast go back into the deck, and I was like, in what world? What is happening? But no, we're fine. Here's how you hit tier. You ban this card. And then tier is fair. And people will stop playing it. You just have to ban Kit Calls. That's it. They're not going to do that, but they have to do that. Ah, the Shuffler kills me. They make Dweller. What the hell? What the fuck are we digging for? What, crime meta noise? Ash? Okay. I know Sulliak's engraved, so I don't have to worry about Sulliak. Bro also saw a 60-card deck and decided, nah, I don't want to make Dweller. Smile. Like, in what fucking world? What the hell are you on? What the fuck? Fairy Tale Snow at 1 or at 3 does not matter. Fairy Tale Snow either needs to be at 3 or at 0 because nothing changes. you have called by? In a year with power creep, it can come back. It's been legal for 2 years, and it's still absolutely the most busted thing in the game. Dang. If only I had a dark on field. Could still draw triple tack or grass here and be fine. Well, that's not it. Fuck. Unlucky. Unlucky. I had terrible mills. And some pretty bad draws as well. What's up, Jay? How's it going? It's funny because I really didn't feel like I lost to my opponent. That one genuinely felt like I lost to my own cards. More so than like anything my opponent did. Well, that is a hand. That's for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. Kirire, sure. Samsara D's nuts, thank you. Now everybody laughs. Special Yubble, no. Called by? I draw Rhino Heart here. Smile. I did not draw Rhino Heart. Tragic. Could normal summon the Maxi and make... make what with it? SP? SP's not terrible, to be fair. Yeah, I'll just pass. I'd imagine they have Imperm. That's my thought. Fury Ray, sure. Samsara. Sure, yeah. That makes it simpler. Please do the thing. Why didn't we activate this to special? What the fuck? Huh? That kind of doesn't do anything. Do you have Ash? Damn. No. Oh, is that enough? It's not. Damn. Unless we discard. Yeah, we draw here. Okay. That could technically do something. Maxi? Of course. Why would the fuck would it not? They only have 2,000 life points, though. Oh, I could have literally tagged out and killed them. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? Oops, I'm stupid. Yeah, they were literally dead. Goofy. Pass. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. I activated Little Knight. Oh, they were never dead there. That's a pretty good draw. Or a pretty good mill. Spicy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Hmm? Yama. Do I crime this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or some have Nightmare Pain. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-huh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Oops. Mm-hmm. Please reborn it. It'd be very cute. Do we go Ken here? Ken kind of sucks. He doesn't really do anything. I think we just go Snow. Snow's just, like, better. Because it gives us Destrudo. Which should just win us this game. Oh, we go with Snow. Damn, that's crazy. Alright. Destro. Summon. Maxi. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Nasty. I feel gross after that game. I guarantee, though, now, he's never going to take Eternal Favorite out of his deck. Even though it's terrible. He's like, but it does so much. It's like, no, it doesn't. It does nothing. I don't mind the Piri Ray. That one's pretty good. Level 12. Look, there's a lot to look at with this deck. 43. The level 12. You know. 2 Grave Squirmers. 3 Piri Ray is also a lot. Why? It's... yeah. I guess it kind of makes sense to play 3 Piri Ray if you're playing 43, because you have, like, 2 hard bricks you really don't want to draw. Well, technically 3 hard bricks. But, yeah. The game was brickiness and stalling? Not necessarily. That game was pretty calculated for the most part. I definitely bricked. I didn't have much that I could do. So, sure, I'll give you that. But my opponent had quite a bit that they could do, is just getting interrupted. Yeah, this started with Mudora. To be fair, I also did hit both of my shufflers, and both of them shuffled away 3 incredible targets for them. Ashes MSRD. Shuffle back Terror Incarnate. Make Phantom. Set 1 pass. What was the set card? Oh, it was the Eternal thing. Yeah, I draw Maxi here, and I'm just like, well, I can't really do anything, so I just pass. We go Piri Ray. 2. Paying another half of their life points. And then normal summon the Dark Beckoning. And then as soon as these 2 come out, right? We go for the Super Poly. Because that at the very least would allow us, would like kind of force them to play into the Maxi. Kind of. Not necessarily, but we Super Poly here into Garula. If they have like Ash in hand, we know they have a Dark Beckoning Beast, right? If they have like Ash in hand, them going for the effect of opening is really, really powerful. So they likely don't have Ash, right? And then I draw Turtle, because of course I do. Why the hell would I not? And I go for the SP. I chain block this in a way where, because drawing here is way more valuable, because I just need to see something, I actually chain it in a way to force them to basically negate the SP. Going after the back row. Because they're never going to negate if I, like... Or, they're still going to negate if I go after the Phantom, but I'm thinking this is also Imperm. So I'm, like, trying to fiend out the Imperm, or fiend out the Phantom. Either way, I think this is more scary. They end up biting with the Phantom, which is great. Then they're going to activate the Eternal Favorite, and I'm like, well, okay, that's odd. I just allow this. I don't know why they flip up here. It's kind of weird. They go Spirit of Bell. I draw one of the worst draws. Yeah, Dear Lanta. I break. What were my draws? It was... I drew Scream, Mudora, Super Poly, Dua, Ash for my starting hand. The next 3 draws are Maxi, not bad, Turtle, and Ken. 2 just dead cards. Comedy. I don't know how you won this game. SP Little Knight is a hell of a card. Also, so are the Shufflers. The Shufflers are absolutely obscenely busted. But I think I should have lost on that second turn. They just didn't continue playing the game. And had they... Oh yeah, I also drew Triple Attack here. I have to draw 2, though. And again, I see, like, nothing. I do end up seeing Tear Cash, which is kind of something. So you can go for the Tear Cash here. They go for the Maxi. Tragic. Maxi versus Maxi. We're both going to draw a card. Smile. I have to banish Crime. I mill here. I mill a Grief, which is kind of surprising. So I mill 6. Tragically, I mill a Grief, and then Rhino Heart. So neither of the Rhino Hearts actually do anything. So I just grab back the Crime, and then I'm just kind of like, well, okay, I guess I have Crime now. But yeah, they go Dark Beckoning, I get to mill again, and again, I hit nothing. Oh, no, sorry. Keldo's insane here. Keldo's a really, really good hit. I also hit Destrudo, which ends up winning me the game. So again, 2 cards that do end up mattering. My mills were not terrible this game. They go for the Unchained Yama, and I'm just like, that's just too much advantage. It's 2 bodies. If it hits the grave, it just becomes an issue. Like, it's just way better to just shuffle it away. Yeah. I don't know if... Does Crime... When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated. Yeah. It's the activation. So had they activated the effect of Eternal Favorite, I think I wouldn't have been able to negate it. Which is why I did this the way that I did. Anyway, we shuffle away here. And then they just pass, and then they die, and then they bring back, and then they die again. But the thing is, right, this whole time, they can't use this because SP Little Knight checks it. So they can't Super Poly my field because of SP Little Knight being able to just banish it and not have to deal with that. So this is entirely invalidated because of SP Little Knight. And if I don't end up going into the SP Little Knight, this card costs me. And then at this point, we close out the game because we have to show it. And we drew into a 4, which is crazy. They also draw another Maxi Comedy. So if they drew into, like, Spirit here, that would suck. Can I show the deck list? Yeah. We just negate here. Obviously, like, that's the only thing that we can realistically do. And then, because of the Piri Rays, they die. Crazy. What a silly, no good, very bad game. Here's the deck list I'm playing. It's pretty much the same as the previous format, just adding in the Ken and Gen as additional normals. I originally didn't like the Ken and Gen, but they're such insane normals. I hate how good they are. One critical weakness of Favorite is that it has to fuse with OG Yubel. Yep. Yeah. Unless he had both Yubel monsters being specifically Yubel, then yeah. And even then, it's like, it's still not a checkmate, because if they activate the effect, even with controlling 2 Yubels, I still get to banish a card and banish the SP. So it's not like they're getting rid of the SP. The SP would just come back later, right? And then, like, they fuse with the rest of my field, which is, like, honestly, most of the time, not great for them. So. Bro should have been scooped. Eternal Favorite isn't that good. No, I think that whole time, everything was played. Everything except for, I think, the second turn was played pretty well from the opponent. The only issue I had is, like, why didn't we go for the... why didn't we go for the discard effect? Like, I'd have to know what was in their hand for them to not go for the discard effect of the... Sacred Beast card? I don't know. Gates of the Sacred Beast, whatever it is. Because if they do that and special summon back the Samsara, since it hadn't activated its effect, right? Like, obviously I have the Shuffler, but you have the negate for the Shuffler. So it's one of those things where it's like, that is clearly the best play. And if they do that, I force out the Max C. And if they have any response to that, I lose. They likely don't. But even if they don't, right, they go Samsara, you know, they special summon out, they go Samsara, they can activate and go for, Nightmare Pain, or, Spirit, grab Nightmare Pain, and then Nightmare Pain is just, like, such an insane grind game card. Because, like, cool, now I can basically get another monster on my field all the time, and it's likely to be Yubel. And then on top of that, I also get a Surge. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, had they just done that, we saw what my draws were. I wasn't drawn into shit. If they do that, I lose. that game is over. Easily. Right? So it's just one of those things where it's like... their hesitation to go for the big combo in a big combo deck was what ended up killing him. Which I had curious though. This deck is so obscenely expensive. It's one of the things that I hate about it. Like, I as much as I enjoy Tearlament, look at how many URs this is. This is obscene. How many normals and rares do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I missing one? That's it. 6. Three normals, 3 rares. That is the same as mana. Mana has the similar cost. Branded still more costly? Is it? I don't think so. I think tier is at this point more. Let me look at branded. Uh-oh. I don't know where my branded went. Yeah. Anyway. Branded. Build me a deck. No, I don't think branded's nearly as bad. Like, it's bad, mind you. No, I guess, yeah, it's similar in nature. I do think that they are playing more like SRs rather than URs. But yeah, it's definitely similar. It's about as bad as, okay, to be fair, at least you can get all of Tearlament in a single pack. Right? Right? They're all in this single pack. Whereas, if you look at, like, Albaz, I believe he's set in, like, 7 different packs or something like that. He's at least... I think it's set across 2 different packs. I don't think he himself is in 2 different packs, but... I'm pretty sure some of the other cards are in several different packs. Am I wrong? I don't know. Branded's, like, across, like, 17 different packs is the problem. Because it's all, like, here's one for Despia, here's one for Branded, here's one for Sword Soul, here's one for Bestials, etc., etc. And then you look at Hero, and it's like, oh my... I feel like Mana was pretty bad as well. Mana's also... Well, the problem with Mana is that you require all of the other URs from, like, Tier and Cash and Scareclaw as well. So it's like, yeah, you're literally just getting... It's horrible. Mana... There are, I think, 4 decks that all basically compete for worst value. Maybe not worst value, but, like, highest cost. Right? Because, like, Mana overall is not that expensive. Right? If you're just looking at, like, the Mana cards, the Mana Diem cards. Right? It's like Ruum Heart, Prime Heart, Calarium. That's pretty standard. Right? Even if you add in Vsauce, right? If you add in the Amritara and Starfrost, which are actual support for mana. Like, these are the cards that mana itself directly benefits from, or is, like, technically part of the archetype, right? Then, like, it's not actually that expensive. The problem is, to make mana, you also have to make Scareclaw, And you have to make Tearlament, and you have to make Kashtira, and it's just, Is lore accurate Vsauce Starfrost deck? Jorbit. Vsauce Starfrost. So yeah. It's just, yeah, it's a nightmare. When you actually look at what this guy is connected to, you're like, oh, I need all of this? At least you don't need this guy. That would suck if you needed this guy. But Vsauce, dot deck, Tearlament, Branded, and Hero are the epitome of way too damn expensive. Hero is it also is so difficult to build because it's not just like I'm just gonna open one pack and get all of the cards that I need. It's like, no, you have to open like 17 different packs, right? Branded in particular, I think, is so much worse. We don't talk about Penned. Penned's not that bad. The thing with Penned is like the thing with Penned is like you're kind of getting a similar thing to Hero, but it's still not nearly as bad because of like structure decks and stuff like that. You can pretty easily obtain the cards that you need to for Pendulum, especially in comparison. Oh, the Vsauce and Pendulum archetype. There. Though, to be fair, Pendulum is also pretty expensive. It's not like the Pendulum monsters are cheap. Like, all of the good ones are URs. Right? You have Astrograph. You have Super Heavy Samurai. Both of them. Right? This guy's a UR. This guy's a UR. This guy's a UR. Wait, Monkey Board's fully unlimited? That's crazy. That's crazy. These guys are all URs. Refrain is new, so you need that one. That one's a UR. Do good pen decks have a decent amount of low rarity splash in? Yep. Yep. But that's the thing is, like, this guy can be obtained from the structure. Right? Structure deck. This guy is a one-of. Cool, you can just craft him. You don't need Super Heavy Samurai. You don't need Melodious. You don't need the Draco Slayers. Right? You don't need a lot of this stuff. Electromate's nice. Obviously, you need that one, but that's a one-of, right? Beyond is maybe a two-of. Exceed is a one-of, right? This guy's probably a three-of, but that's kind of it. And then depending on the deck, like, oh, are you playing Endymion? Well, Endymion's not nearly as bad, right? Like, you still have several URs and SRs, and you still have several commons and rares, like, in your deck, right? Mostly in like the spells and traps that you use, right? A few SRs here. Endymion's definitely expensive, but it's not like nearly as bad as Hero. Hero's main problem is that like everything is high rarity and in a bunch of different packs. Pendulum at the very least, like, hey, do you want to build Endymion? Great, it's all in one pack. Do you want to build... I mean, Zark was all in one pack. Do you want to build Draco Slayer? This was also all in one pack, but alas, it's not here now. Do you want to build, what is it? Yeah. Do you want to build, like, Magicians? There you go. It's in a structure deck. It's even better. But damn. Pendulum's awful. Insane. To be fair, Tier can be played significantly cheaper. You don't have to play the Horus cards. You don't have to play Snow. You don't have to play this, that, or the other thing. It's just like, yeah, it turns out 60 cards of like the highest rarity, highest quality cards tend to be extremely good. Like, yeah, this deck's so silly. Bro, Valmonica was, Valmonica is such a good, like, rarity skew. It's so good. Odd Eyes Performapal. Okay, the problem with Odd Eyes of Performapal is that you're playing Odd Eyes Performapal, which is not good. I feel like Dynamorphia was expensive. Dynamorphia is expensive for, like, no reason. I think all... Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a... Yeah, the 2/3 ofs in the main deck, you know, on top of, like, Judgment and stuff like that. All of the Solemns. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Actual comedy. Happy being a UR is a robbery? I absolutely agree. Bro, Horus has no need to be this high rarity. Literally everything, except for the trap that no one uses, is SR or above. I'll give you Field Spell, and I will give you Dua as SR, and I will give you Sark and Horus as UR. Everything else should be lower. Actually, this guy can also be a UR. That's fine. Everything else should be lower rarity. Happy should be a lower rarity than UR. It should be an SR. This guy, Kebsemnuef. Kebsen. How the fuck do you say this guy's name? Kebesemnuef? Kebesemnuef? I'm gonna call him Keb. Keb should be like a common. Same with the trap. I hate it. It's so dumb. But like everything else in this deck, I feel like the rarities are understandable. Right? Is there anything else that feels out of place? No. No, it just like happens to be that everything else is super high rarity. Because like the spells and traps for tier are actually pretty low rarity, except for Scream. Kebsemwef? Kebsemwef? Lab is cheap. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Blue Eyes before the structure. I mean, Blue Eyes with the structure is still cheap. Depending on what's reprinted, right? Oh, that reminds me. Have y'all seen the OCG metagame? Have y'all seen that Blue Eyes is actually a top tier now because of the Primite cards? That's the coolest shit. I love that. That's so cool. I've shown it before, but it's such a cool deck. Ryzeal, Malice, Blue Eyes! Primite Blue Eyes! Let's go! Mana is expensive for no reason. Mana's not actually all that expensive. We literally took a look at it. The mana cards are not actually all that expensive. The problem is that mana's... The way that Mana DM plays is through the use of the best cards from other archetypes as well, right? So it's using the Vsauce cards, right? It's using the mana cards. It's using the Scareclaw, the tier, and the cash cards. And all of those are higher rarities that it ends up needing, right? But mana is pretty well balanced in terms of its cost because it's got 4 URs that are mana cards, right? If you add the Vsauce cards, it's 6, I think. But 2 of them are kind of not really played. So there's that. So it's got 6, right? But then you add in like the Scareclaw and the tier and the cash, and you're just like, well, okay, never mind. Blue Eyes being top tier is how Yu-Gi-Oh should be. Yep. I agree. I think Blue Eyes being top tier, Dark Magician being top tier. Honestly, Yubel being top tier is not bad. Like, I don't mind anime decks being top tier. right? If they're cool, if they're interesting, if they're fun, right? As much as I love, like, 5Ds, and that's the one anime that I've really enjoyed for Yu-Gi-Oh! Every single deck from 5Ds is awful. Both to play and to play against. Like, I just genuinely do not enjoy the 5Ds style of deck building and of deck gameplay, right? What if I synchro summoned to infinity? That's pretty much it. I love synchro summoning. I think it's the best summoning mechanic in the game, hands down, no questions asked. But also, so yeah. But I think having like an anime deck, an iconic anime deck, always at the top is great for Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's super fun. Didn't I try out Blue Eyes? No. We've read the Blue Eyes cards. We've seen them. They're pretty cool. I've seen them in action, right? We've seen what the deck does. I haven't seen it with the new Primite cards because they're relatively new in the OCG. But 5Ds and Brain decks are mostly balls to the walls combo. Yep, tragic. I know I saw someone say something about Blue Eyes and Primite. I've talked about this before, but I haven't played it. I don't exactly know what the Primite Blue Eyes stuff is. I just know that Primite's like insanely good with normal monsters, and it also is really specifically good with light dragon monsters in particular, which happens to be very beneficial for Blue Eyes. Hint, hint. Maybe Konami's doing something. But yeah. I did want to bring up... what is it called? No. Hold on. I gotta find the thing. What is it called? Oh, it's Limitless. That's what it is. There it is. I will always bring this up. But Pokemon does this really well. Charizard has been top tier for fucking ages. Just saying. Right? But like all Gardevoir was meta not too recently. Again, in a similar capacity. Charizard has been meta on and off. Pretty much, right there at the top for a while now. And looking at these, it's like, these are iconic monsters, or iconic Pokemon that you kind of expect to see at the top. And then you have some other stuff, like goddamn Regidrago, which is sick as hell, and one of the coolest decks out there, and is really cool, but it's also not like an iconic Pokemon, right? It's just like, yeah, people know Regidrago. He's like a legendary, so more people know him, but he's not insane, right? However, really cool. Snorlax Stall. Look, Snorlax Stall, it exists, right? And then you also have like Lost Zone Box, which is just a cool amalgamation of synergies, right? With like Cramorant being able to like KO a Pokemon pretty quickly, and with like Sableye being able to get additional damage onto the bench and stuff like that. Just like a cool little synergies like that. Similar to like pile decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! This is kind of what it is in Pokemon. And it's really, really cool. And Pokemon has done this for quite some time. Since basically I've been around in Pokemon, which has been like years, they've had metagames that are like this. Where it's like, cool, here's a cool, big Pokemon that everyone loves, it's meta, and then you have things like Regidrago or like Lost Box or like Cloth here, etc., that are just like interesting, but not necessarily beloved Pokemon from the other games or from the anime or something like that. And it's like, that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs. And they're doing that, which is great. Yubel was like the first step, because prior to Yubel, we did not have anything from like the anime that was top tier. Since like Hero, maybe, like way back in the day. Genuinely, we did not have much, right? And now, Blue Eyes. I guess Blue Eyes would have been the other one, right? In 2016. Roaring Mid is top 10? Sure. How does stall work? You deck your opponent out. That's how Snorlax stall works. It's much better in tournaments where, like, time exists. Because you just win, like, one game and then that's it. that was the whole 45 minutes. But it relies on you, like, stacking the deck and stuff like that to give your opponent shit draws. It's awful. Anyway, yeah. Blue Eyes being top tier, I think it's good for the game. I think if Yubel is not top tier, Blue Eyes being top tier is good. I think something of that nature, something from the anime, something iconic, should realistically be top tier. Right? It just helps players get into the game. Because, I mean, imagine talking to someone about Yu-Gi-Oh! And being like, yeah, so, you know, I was playing the Snake Eye Mirror and yada yada. And they're like, okay, I don't care. But imagine talking to someone and being like, yeah, so I was playing, like, Blue Eyes versus Blue Eyes. And in the Blue Eyes Mirror match, this thing happens. And they go, Blue Eyes, I remember that card. And then they're interested. Like, it really is just that simple. It's like, hey, I remember that card. Like, so I summoned Dark Magician. I'm like, oh, I know that card. And then they think about it. And they're like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe I should play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and they get absolutely slaughtered by Tenpai. And they go, why the fuck did I play Yu-Gi-Oh! The best deck is a bunch of fire trucks. You're not wrong! Rescue Ace, let's go! I mean, to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a ton of really cool decks. But being like, hey, this iconic deck from the anime that you likely know is the best deck. And they go, whoa, yeah, I'd love to play Blue Eyes. Especially returning players. We're like, hey, Blue Eyes is top tier again. And they go, huh? I should play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. Talking about Exodia and Blue Eyes being in the tournaments would be so peak. Yeah. I mean, that could genuinely happen in the TCG. With the new Exodia deck, what, Millennium, I believe is what it's called. With Millennium and the new Blue Eye structure. That's likely. It's not gonna be like the top cuts, but Millennium, both of them would be top cut, but like potentially. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool. There you go. Into the last day before the madness tomorrow? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Ain't that tragic? I mean, what all are we getting tomorrow? We're getting this. Okay, we're getting this tomorrow. Hooray. Hooray. Millennium is based off Solomon Mudo's cards. Yep. And also has a Blue Eyes in the archetype. Exactly. Incredible. Imagine Tenpai going first and going to summon Dragoon. Imagine Tenpai going first. That reminds me of the most recent YCS and the Tenpai players actively choosing to go first because they're scared of the floodgates. And it's like that. What? Huh? Tenpai players, they get into their head so much. They get so far into their own mind games, it just, like, ruins their actual cognition. Their brain just stops functioning. The little gears stop turning. They get gunked up with too much thought, and then they just go, and then they stop. And then all thought evades them. It's just, like, wild. They put all the unbanned cards in one pack. Yeah. Yeah. And Avramax. In addition, Dragoon, Masterpiece, Avramax, Justicar, or Ib, and Nightmare Mermaid. And others will be included. Whoa! Which unlocks strategies is full. Is that a word? Strategies? Why does it sound like I'm saying Jesus? Strategies. Strategies? Fuck. That's not a real word. You can't tell me that's real. That's not real. You can't say that. Not real. Strategies, my ass. Unlock strategies to their full potential. Gah! Google Translate, baby. Be sure to check them out. Oh my gosh. Strategies. There you go. Oh. It's a proper apostrophe usage, but an odd use of the plural. Just a bad translation. That's the thing. Yes, technically speaking, I know that's real. Realistically speaking, no English speaker would ever say strategies' full potential. Like, that's so difficult for an English speaker to... That's so difficult for anyone to say. That is a tongue twister through and through. Strategies. To unlock strategies' full potential. God, that's so hard. I have to put my full brain into thinking about just saying words. No. Oh. Anyway, very funny. And then we're also getting this selection pack. It's just White Forest. Oh, it's Trickstar. That was the other thing. It's Gimmick Puppet White Forest Trickstar. What are the new Trickstar cards? Hell? What do we not have in Master Duel as of right now? We are missing a grand total of 6 cards. 7 cards. I can't count. We are missing, apparently, these 6. They have a fusion? What the fuck? They have 2 fusions? Even I wouldn't write that line like that. Exactly. Let's use tactics. I'm curious what the free agents will be. Me too. I would imagine one of the free agent URs is likely to be the Silo Hat Trap. Yeah. Well, yes, I know the second fusion is new. We have the fusion, which is 2 Trickstar monsters. Your Trickstar Link monsters discard 0.2, gains 1,000 attack, and what the fuck? You can only use each of the following attacks. Each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add a Trickstar card from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards you control and in your grave. And if either player takes effect damage, you can target a face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0. Honestly, not bad. It was like a solid card. The problem is, you'd have to fusion summon it, which is just not going to happen. So, there's that. We have Aqua Angel. Link monsters, discard 0.2, cannot be destroyed by battle. Cool. You can only use each of the following effects once per duel. If you control a Trickstar or Marincess monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or grave. And then if sent to the graveyard as Link material, you can look at your opponent's hand and all face-down cards they control. Hey, this one does do the thing that I was talking about earlier. Azure Rune is an SR, right? Yes. There's another trap for the Silo Hat Rabbit that is specifically for, like, it's designed around Silo Hat. But no one plays it because it's bad. This one sucks because it's a fusion. Yep. Typical Konami. Yep. We have Hoodie, which says if you control a Trickstar fusion or a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the grave as material for a Link summon of a Trickstar monster, you can add a Trickstar fusion or a Trickstar defusion from your deck to your hand. That's not terrible. It's just free material. Rika, I need you to sit and think about what you did. Just, nope. That's not allowed. We have Holly Angel. Sorry, Trickstar Holly Angel. Which I believe is just a... Yeah. This is just an alt art. Sorry, Noble Angel, which requires 2 Trickstar monsters, which if Link summoned, you can add a blue tiers card from your deck to your hand, which I believe... We'll look at later. Anyway, yeah. You can add blue tiers. If you have a fusion monster on your field or in your grave, you can target a Trickstar monster in your grave, special summon it. If either player takes effect damage, you can target a face-up card on the field and to destroy it. If either player, that's kind of comedy. So yeah, you know, these are great cards, all in all. We have Kolchika, which says you can special summon you can only special summon it once per turn. You can only special summon it once per turn. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Trickstar monster while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, then target one of those destroyed monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack it had on the field. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Trickstar monster while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, target one of those destroyed monsters, and inflict damage. Okay. This does stuff. I guess it's a better Link one than Bloom. And then we have Defusion, which fusions summons a Trickstar fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing its materials from grave, or immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon a Link monster. And you can banish it from grave in order to then target a Trickstar monster you control. This turn, your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except that monster while you control it. Yep. Oh. These are all cards that do exist. Blue Tears, which is Angel of Blue Tears, or Maiden of Blue Tears, both of which are terrible, to be fair. Angel of Blue Tears says, target a face-up monster on the field. Its controller's opponent takes damage equal to the number of cards in their hand times 200, then negate the target's effects until the end of the turn. If effect damage is inflicted, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your grave to set a normal trap directly from your hand or deck. Then, if set from the hand, it can be activated this turn. On top of that, Maiden, which, again, can be searched off of the Noble Angel. Maiden says if your opponent special summons a monster, you control a Link monster, you can target one of those one of those summoned monsters destroyed, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. If either player takes effective damage while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, then target a normal spell in your grave or banishment, set it, but it cannot be activated this turn. My question is, why did Konami not give Trickstar like actual good monsters? They like half committed to making Trickstar a burn deck, and that bothers me immensely because Trickstar is such a cool deck, and I love the burn strats, and I'd love to see it actually be good. But alas, they printed absolutely terrible, no good, very bad cards. So this pack, honestly, kind of skippable. Let's be honest. None of these decks are going to do anything. But White Forest is super sick and is going to get the Azamina support, which is pretty good. Silo Hat Rat is really incredible. Silo Hat Rabbit. Rat, same thing. And then the Gimmick Puppet shenanigans are going to FTK a whole bunch of people. Smile. Cards designed in 2019. They just got to release them. I'm convinced. Honestly, you're probably right. Imagine beating over an opponent's monster when all of your monsters have 2k attack and at most outside of Holly Angel. Well, that's where the fusion comes in. It boosts the monster that points to it. That's like the whole point of that. Like, oh, now you have 300 or 3,000. I'll craft a rabbit and call it a day. Fair. Fair. Hold on, what is this? Wait, this pack was open? Oh, it's the secret pack. They were like telling me stuff is going away. I was like, what? What? Oh, we still have 34 more days to get the alt arts. There you go, chat. Hooray. 20 hours. until we no longer have to deal with this pack, and Tenpai can officially be nerfed. Smile. This pack was insane, by the way. Too bad Tenpai was, like, extremely expensive. For no reason. I want White Forest, but I'm probably going to skip it if it's too many URs. Five. I'm guessing 5. Which it will. Exactly. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like it very much. I appreciate it. And remember to always